Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back with you for some catch up here on Stars on Mars. And back with me, one of the brightest stars in the podcasting galaxy. Here she is. It's the base commander, Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I kind of consider
Always
myself
mission critical.
okay. I feel like I'm a mission specialist, and you're probably base commander. But because I really feel like if this ship goes down, like
Yeah, I'm taking
it's
the
kind of
fall.
it's you taking the fault. No, like, and
Yes,
that's. I mean, your name is on
you'll be fine.
the, but I wouldn't say I'm safe, but
Mhm.
it's a decent place for me to be, I
Yeah.
guess.
So last week we were taking a break from the
Well,
Stars on
yes.
Mars. We were still a little upset about what they did to
Did we
Andy
ever hear
Richter.
back from Andy Richter? Did he ever DM
No,
you
he did
back?
not reply. He
The
ghosted us.
hell?
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
So now we know why they got rid of him, and
yeah.
so bad attitude. And then we took a week
You
off.
turned quick.
Okay, that they were punished, but we are back, and this is actually probably two good episodes to cover back to back as one
Yeah.
because both episodes it was sort of the end of this iconic rivalry between Lance Armstrong and Ariel through the whole season, and then they
Yep.
quit in back-to-back episodes. We're supposed to quit the show, not
Yeah.
you all.
Yeah,
It's
so
hit or quit
now
for us, not
no, hit or
you.
quit is we only cover shows where people quit. That is the new branding. It's we cover the show until someone quits the show.
Yeah. And so
So,
that was sort of like the big picture. Both Lance and Ariel quit the show in back-to-back weeks for no reason for either of
well,
them.
we should talk through whether these are legitimate quits or not
Yeah.
because they
Or
did
I
they
can't,
did
you can't fire
no.
me. I quit. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's a little bit of that. But they at least waited until the point where they could be eliminated. And kind of I think there's like a little bit of like this is the honorable thing to do. Like you
Hmm.
need to keep these other people. So I will lay down and
Yeah.
say I will go. I would say
And then,
Lance was more of a quit than Ariel. That's my take there.
okay. All right. Well, we'll get into all of that. And then also thematically, these two episodes were about the stupid robot dog.
Yes.
These dogs are more trouble than they're worth, Jenny.
I love the dogs, but it doesn't seem that everyone does. And yes, both missions kind of dealt with and this is a whole new rad dog. It's not even,
Yeah, but
again,
the
what
rad dog is
happened?
just screwing things up for them.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. But like, Rob, are you trying to tell me that despite the joy that having a pet brings you, that they aren't also kind of screwing things up for you
That's
sometimes?
true. That's true.
Okay.
Yes,
This is
yes.
just
I
like,
am
that's what it's like.
constantly, yeah, walking into a room and seeing rad dog. You are rad dog. You're a rad dog.
You are the raddest dog in the galaxy.
Mhm.
This is a new rad dog. It's a puppy, apparently, although it seems to be the same size as the other ones.
Yeah.
So anyway, I
Mhm.
like that
Yeah.
it's there. It's funny, it's cute, but it is the cause of all of the
I mean,
problems
it's
of these
yeah,
two
been
episodes,
half the problems on this season has been because of the rad
basically.
dog. Okay. All right. So we
Apparently, a
will
big deal in Mars is like the AI dog
rad dog
is a big
training.
issue in Mars.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk through these two episodes as we are but 2 hours away from the finale of Stars on Mars, where it's getting a little political here towards the end.
It certainly is, and the preview for next week's episode, I could have sworn that could like look like the finale, but I believe we know there are two more episodes, next week and the week after, and yeah, so these are the last two episodes we get with the base commander, and it looks
Yeah.
like from here on out everyone's in the mission, so we're
Individual
down to 6 at the
challenge.
end of this, so it should be interesting to see how that goes. But I think that we needed to close this chapter. Much of the season what was the big issue between Lance and Ariel. They do not get along. It's big theme of the season, and it was getting a little tired. And it seemed that, I guess, since Rhonda had left, that Lance was like really like kind of, you
Yeah.
know, losing any connections he had with anyone, and kind of becoming like a self-appointed pariah sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
Jenny, would you say 75% of the people that left this show left of like, hey, y'all pick me. I'm ready to go.
yeah, there
I've
were
had it.
very few
I'm ready to turn
situations.
in my what did they do on Special Forces: World Toughest
Their
Test?
badge,
Yeah.
or it's like an armband. It was like an armband, but I think it was
Mhm.
like supposed to be a badge. I don't know. I
Yeah.
We should talk about the commercials for Special Forces, because I did actually watch one now. But anyway, um, yeah, you're right. I think a lot of them, justice for McLovin. Like,
Mhm. He wanted
he
to
got
stay.
robbed. Look, if I don't think he would have quit. I think he
Yeah.
would have.
Andy Richter wanted to stay.
Andy Richter would have wanted to stay. I honestly think that Tom Schwartz like understood, but I don't think that he was laying down and
Whoa.
quitting. But I don't know what he's doing. Um, but a lot of these people were giving "you can't fire me, I quit" energy, like you said. So, and I think especially these two tonight. But I think these they're getting down, like they've been together for a lot longer at this point. They maybe feel like they've gotten what they needed out of the experience. And I think that genuinely they seem to care about each other and the friendships they've built, and can tell when other people are maybe taking it more seriously, or like, quote, air quote, deserve to be there more than them. So I think that that's feeding into it a little bit with like the later quits, because it's like you're really getting down to it and you feel bad taking the spot of someone that wants to be there more, when
Yeah.
really in these two eliminations, like they haven't failed a mission in forever. So like trying to decide like who is and isn't mission critical is like kind of arbitrary, which is why it's like, yeah, so it's going to become political. Like, what do you expect when it's like, oh, everyone has to use a screwdriver, and I'm just going to eliminate what screwed the slowest. Oh god. Oh
Whoa.
god. Okay. Well,
Okay.
anyway, and maybe that's what you like. I
Maybe.
don't know. I
Everybody's
don't know
different.
what you.
Yeah. So I guess my two big questions off of this is sort of what's the incentive for anybody to stay? And what's the incentive for anybody to want to win other than a handshake from Shaddy Daddy at the end of this
we
thing?
we don't even know if we get a handshake from Shaddy Daddy. He has only appeared on a screen, and from everything I can tell, he's wearing the same outfit, lighting's the same, background's the same. These
Mhm.
are all filmed in the same afternoon. So I don't know that they will ever meet William Shatner in their life. Certainly not on fake Mars. I really don't think that
Yeah.
they'll even get a handshake from the Shaddy Daddy. I don't know what being the brightest star in the galaxy means to anyone. They
Yeah.
Unless they are hiding the fact that they get money so that people aren't mad that like, this is stupid. Well, I don't care about celebrities making money. Like, why don't they do this for real people? Because you know that there is someone that feels that way. That is just like mad. That like would be mad. Or why isn't it for charity or something like that?
Mhm.
Not there's nothing wrong with charity. I did on the last time we talked. I shit talk kids, Cars for
Cars
Kids.
for
Anyway,
Kids. Yes,
I'm
that
not
is
against
true.
charity, but I'm just
Yes.
saying, like, I think that people,
Just
if they
kids.
found out, I just hate kids. That's right. Um, and like, I just think that people, if they found out that like there was a cash prize, they'd be like, well, why isn't it for charity? These are not very big celebrities. And so I am thinking that perhaps the money would be a motivating factor. So they either just make more money the longer they're there, which would make sense. Each episode you appear on, you make more money. And maybe it's as simple as that, or they just truly found people that once you put them in this environment and give them something that is competitive, that the natural desire to be the best at something is just so strong.
Mhm.
Couldn't be me, Rob. I live to be mediocre. I live to be just okay.
Stop.
I No, I'm not even just purposely being like self-deprecating here. I don't care about being the best at anything. So
Nothing? Nothing?
I don't I if there was I don't wouldn't even know what that thing could be. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I
Gotta be
want to be good
something.
at things. I don't want to be bad at things, but
Mhm.
I do not care about being the smartest, the funniest, the prettiest in the room. I don't like I'm not trying to what am I don't look at life as a competition. I'm just trying to vibe.
Yeah.
So, but these people, especially if, if you come from certain industries, like it's understandable that they just like winning. What's the
Mhm.
point in doing something if you're not going to be the best at it? And I don't personally relate to that energy, but these people seem to have that. And so maybe that is
Okay.
enough for them, Rob. Like
Alright, well, let's
would
talk
you be like,
through
like putting yourself out here for nothing? I don't know. You would have gone home. You would
if
have
it was
quit.
something I care about, like this is where, I've had this conversation here at the house quite a bit where my wife has alleged that you don't care about anything. Because my life, my attitude on many things is like, really, does this affect me? Who cares? Who cares?
You're a chill
You know,
guy.
where she is like, from like a 10 out of many things that probably shouldn't get that be that interested in. So
Mhm.
it really would come down to how much I wanted the thing because it's like I care very much about very specific things, but almost anything else I
Right.
could not care less.
I just think like are you giving it your all on fake Mars for seemingly no cash prize, which is why I think that there must be like they're clearly they're
Yeah,
getting paid to be on the show,
but
but like they're
yeah,
definitely
I
making like enough money more by like staying on longer.
knowing me, I would be in on the bit. I wouldn't be
Right.
like, completely
Airtime.
indifferent about it. Right.
Yeah.
Airtime, like I would see the upside in being the brightest star in the galaxy, I think.
Yeah, but some of them are taking it seriously, and I think we've gotten down to the people that are taking it seriously. Like I kind of feel like of the 6 that we're left with at the end of the episode here, uh I mean, I am kind of surprised that Paul Pierce cares. Why is he still
Mhm.
there is one of my big questions. I mean, I know literally why he's still there, because he
We'll
made
see how
himself
long
base
he's there
commander,
for.
but
Yeah.
I don't think that he should be
Think he
there.
could be in trouble. All
Yeah.
right. So, Jenny, let's just talk through some of the events from the
Yes.
last couple of weeks here on the show. The big incident going on was that there was some sort of like invasive species potentially that was on the loose, like almost
Yeah.
haunting the Hab in last week's episode.
It's confusing because, like, it started off with, like, Ariel, like, closing cabinets and they
Almost
kept
like it was
reopening, like
haunted. Yeah.
yes. But then there was noise in, like, the air ducts, and so there was this, like, theory, I think that it was Tinashe that heard it first and was like, "There's a bird stuck in the vent." And
Yeah.
so that was the story
A
for, like
Mars bird. Yeah.
yeah, those classic Mars birds, that was stuck in the air ducts system, and because it was making noise, but only in like certain parts of the hab. And so there's something going on, but it seemed like for the longest time they really just thought that there was truly like a bird and that it had nothing to do with
Mhm.
the missions, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So
But yeah, there's
something's
something
making
going on.
noises. That's
Mhm.
ultimately what the mission is going to be about. But let's just highlight some of the interesting things that were going on at the Hab. We found out about in Cat talking with Lance. They were talking about
Yes.
who's the most famous person in your phone.
Yes. Okay, this conversation was so like if anyone who watched this, and I know that we have a lot of podcast onlys here, and we love you and we appreciate you, and you are doing a good thing. But I need to I need to ask. I do not know what Lance was doing in this conversation because like him and Kat were in separate rooms, and like he was like on the floor, like in like a weird position, and it almost like have you ever seen like an animal like scoot their butt across the floor?
Yes. Yes.
That's what it was giving to me. I
Look,
had no
Lance
idea
has
what he was
ridden
doing.
on a lot of uncomfortable seats over the
Yeah,
years. We don't know what he
true.
has going on.
Yeah, it was almost like he had like a butt itch, and he was like, instead of using his hand, he was like trying to use the floor to like relieve the itch. I don't know. It was
Mm,
very confusing.
okay.
And apparently
He
that's a
did need
perfect
to
time.
use Marshawn Lynch's bathroom.
Yes. Yeah, maybe I
Didn't
don't
want.
know. He's
I don't
got
know.
stuff going on. But that it was a weird position he was in, having this conversation about, oh yeah, who's the most famous person you could text right now? And I guess Kat, her and Oprah are buddies.
Her and
It's like a
Oprah are
pretty
buddies, and
big
Oprah
flex.
said, "Kat, we need you. You have to do something for Harry's birthday. You know Harry, right?
Harry Styles, right?
Not Harry Styles. Harry and
Oh.
Meghan, you know, from Suits."
That's what we know her from over here.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. So I guess it was Harry's birthday, and Oprah just needed Kat to cook for Harry's birthday, and now they're her buds.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
well, you know, Oprah was working on that whole, like, interview with them.
yeah.
So,
I'm just realizing now that, like, do Harry and like, what are Harry and I know Megan's last name is Markle, but like, what is Harry's last name?
Windsor?
Is it
That is,
Windsor?
I didn't know there was gonna be a test.
I don't know. I'm not making the test. I'm realizing I don't know the royals' last name.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
just thought it's funny that it's like it's Harry and Meghan, like, and it's like first name basis because you know who you're referring to, but like I don't actually know Harry's last name.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, there'll be like
Okay.
800 people
All right.
correcting us,
Yes,
but
yes. Okay. If Harry's
listen.
official last name, according to this, is that due to being royal, Harry doesn't have a last name like mere mortals.
What?
In fact, his official name on his listed on his son Archie's birth certificate is His Royal Highness Henry Charles Albert David Duke of
That
Sussex.
is a lot of names. Actually, okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
So
Those are all his last names.
Henry Charles Albert David.
Henry Charles Albert David. I was trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it should be Charles Henry Albert David, and then he could be Chad
Mm-hmm. All right.
as the acronym. That's what
So
it should have been.
there you go.
We need more princes and royals named Chad is what I think.
Okay.
Like
That's
with none of
that's
these, Charles and Harry and William. No, we need more royal Chads.
okay. Well, Jenny, that I'll tell you one person that would not appreciate Royal Chads is Lance Armstrong
Lance.
because he said, "Why do you call her the Queen? You're not from England. You're an
Yeah, because
American. Why do you
he's like,
recognize the Queen? I don't
you're
respect
from
the Queen.
Mississippi. Why do you care about the Queen?
Why do you
And
care about the Queen?"
yeah, we're American. Why do you care
Yeah.
about the Queen? And I'm like,
And
that's
then yeah, for the first time, Twitter was like, "All right, let's hear
he,
him out. Let's let
he's
Lance
got a
cook here for a
point.
minute." Yeah.
Yeah, most of his opinions I will not co-sign, but he does have a point about the royal family. Why do we care? Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. And Kat was like, she's like a sweet old grandma. So I'm
Not to
like,
me.
like, I guess you could just, I don't know. I I have nothing against the now dead queen. Like,
Yeah, and I think
it's
she must
fine.
have died at the time that this was recorded, September 8th, 2022. So I think that's
Yeah.
probably right. This is probably, I think we've sort of dated this back to the spring. So she had
Yeah.
like even more recently passed away.
And it wasn't even clear to me if Kat was referring to her in like the past tense or not. I thought she
Hmm.
said that she's like a sweet old grandma, and I'm like, oh, she's
Not to Lance.
like a sweet old dead
Hmm.
grandma.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Jenny, anything else socially that jumped out to you from episode 9
I
before we get
do
to the mission?
I do love like the little you know, social kind of conversations we get and just the fun stuff. Um but I think that was pretty much it before. Well, we had the lead up of like Portia becoming the base commander. So basically,
Yeah.
like we know in the previous week, Portia wanted to do it and they gave it to Kat. And so Portia basically was like, yeah, what's up? I'm gonna be base commander this time. And she made them basically campaign for her, and it was very, very easy. She didn't have to do anything. But yeah, like people are starting to recognize like Portia, like Lance says Portia's sweet, she's playing all sides. But yeah, that's basically all of the social stuff that's happening there, is that people are just like, there's lots of people being like, this person's really playing the game. Like,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, it seems like that we're gonna get more in the next episode. I think we can bring this in that, Portia really wants, okay, all right, let me get my time in here as base commander. Maybe this was like a little bit of a strategic spot where she wanted it, but she wants to wait till a certain point to be the mission specialist, because that's sort of like you have automatic immunity there at the mission specialist. And it seems like that next time she wants to be mission specialist, but did she blow it? Because now there is no base commander and mission specialist.
well, exactly. I think she had the right idea, but she, flew too
It's
close
like, I'm
to
not
the
going to play
sun.
my idol at 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to save it. I'm like,
She
oh,
didn't
well,
know what was gonna expire,
yep.
and now she has a useless idol because
Expect the unexpected.
she easily could have gotten mission special. Well, not easily, but I think she could have gotten mission specialist in the second
She
episode.
turned it down
here.
in the next
She
episode, right?
basically turned it down. Although I do think that, like, Paul was probably gonna pick Kat anyway, but she was kind of like,
Well, Paul
interviewed
wanted
for
her
the
to go
position.
home after that. She got lucky.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if she had actually just gotten that could have been a whole different episode for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
You
now
know-
there's gonna be no base commander or anything, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I will say, and just to like bring in like where we end up at the end of these 2 hours of the show, where that had the 4 people not come into the hab like midway through, it might be a very different game where when we get down to the final 6, like it is like a bit of a split house where we have the Adam, Tinashe, Portia side, and then the Marshawn, Paul, Kat side of things.
So here's the thing. It is split if you look at it that way, but I feel like Marshawn is kind of a floater in that, like, maybe floater isn't the right word.
See, but
it's,
didn't Paul and Marshawn like make an alliance here?
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
Marshawn
well,
is
I
an
don't know if it's-
unreliable ally.
I don't know. I've spent this entire season trying to figure out what Marshawn cares about.
Skittles.
Because he kind of is playing the game, but he is also kind of just there for vibes and just like wants to do what he wants to do. He likes going outside on the missions. He doesn't care about base commander or mission specialist. He, doesn't spend a lot of time like strategizing with people. He kind of takes like this approach where he thinks certain people should do things. Like he does kind of look at things like logically, as opposed to like, these are the people I'm working with. And he's kind of good with everyone. So I don't know for sure that I fully place him with Paul and Kat. I do think that he has good relationships with them and he's kind of like slid into a spot with them, but he also has been there the entire time with the other 3, the other 3. So he's a wild card. He's a wild card.
Yep.
So I don't really know. I find myself never really knowing what Marshawn is thinking or what his desires are here, because like people that he loves Portia clearly, but he spends so much time just like completely just like running her up the wall and just like.
Well, she says that that's like a little sister dynamic that they have. Yeah. And so I don't know if she appreciates it as much as he might. Also, don't forget, at the beginning of this episode, we thought that, okay, Lance and Marshawn are tight. And Marshawn like did not forget, Lance, you had one job. You had one job to not make me crash my knee into the cart, and you did it. And I'm not going to forget it. You did it on purpose.
Which was so wild because, and I think that like Lance also, and this is part of the thing that fed into Lance being like, all right, it's my time to go. Because they were tight and Marshawn was very mad about him screwing up, like him walking into the rover. And I didn't realize that it was a continuous thing the next day. And like Lance is like, oh, you're still mad about this. And we get this like confessional from Lance being like, I thought we were going to be friends for life. Like, it kind of hurts. Like,
Don't make me crash into the rover when I'm blindfolded.
now I'm like, oh my God, like, what? I'm thinking of all the things that I could do wrong that and I could lose my friendship with Marshawn, and how much that would devastate me,
Easily.
honestly.
Easily.
But this is what I was saying on our last podcast, was I think that, like, maybe Marshawn was just kind of already over Lance, and he was just like, as soon as he did something that pissed him off personally, like, hey, you made me bump into the rover, it was like all in. He's just like waiting for an opportunity to feel justified in being annoyed with him.
Jenny, let's talk about the mission that they went through on episode 9, which was that there's some sort of thing in the ventilation system. We're going to go
Yes.
into teams, and you're going to have to go through the ventilation shaft and turn off the big spinning blades.
Yeah. So there's 3 teams, and like teams 1 and 2, they got to crawl through the air vents, find a button that stops the fan blades
Mhm.
so that they can get through. And then another team is getting stuff out of the vent so that they can exit that way. I don't know.
I don't know.
There was a map. It doesn't really matter. But there's some sort of thing in an intruder that needs to be
Yes.
neutralized in the
Yep.
ventilation system. And we're all working together
Yeah.
to neutralize and get it out.
So let me be a little positive and say that to me, this did feel a little cinematic, even if it was maybe in like a Nether Gorgon sort of way. And I do feel like that there are a lot of like sci-fi tropes where you have to like turn off the big spinning fan blade in the ventilation shaft. That does seem, and I like that they're not in their helmets and
Yes.
we can see them a little bit more.
It was different.
But, ultimately, like, maybe a little boring of watching people like stare at the
Crawl
spinning fan
through.
blade and crawl through
Yeah.
the tunnel.
And I can't see the button. So there's like so much of the dialogue and like the suspense of this mission was like Ariel yelling, I can't find the button. I can't find the button.
Mhm.
And I'm like, bitch, me neither. I can't see shit. Like, I'm like, sorry, but I don't understand what's going on either. So, like, what am I? It's not like I'm watching it being like, it's right there, girl. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right
Well,
there.
I
I'm
don't know.
confused too.
Was there even a button there? Because then it was like breaking
No.
news. It is now revealed there's another button to push.
So
okay, well,
this is-
if they
yeah.
found the first button, would that have worked?
Because the mission was about adaptability. Rob.
Adaptability, yeah. It was like-
So they were under the premise that the vent that Ariel and Lance had to go down. And yes, Portia put Ariel and Lance together as pairs purposely. And like, so I guess they expected to have the button, but it was really the button they needed was on the other side. So it was like they had to figure that out and then adapt to the
Since
change
when?
of plans.
Yeah.
But it was like, it didn't really play well on the episode because I was confused and they weren't and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the button is behind you. And like Kat had to turn around and turn on a button. And then Adam had to turn on another button. And like, it was just stupid to watch because we had no idea what was going on either, but not in like a fun, suspenseful way, just in a like, what are we doing here way.
Yeah. Also, I like the tag team of Marshawn and Paul work together, and basically they had to crawl through like a tiny tunnel that just had a bunch of cable in it.
Yes.
Marshawn went through that, but I guess that like the key storyline of the episode was that Ariel and Lance are buddies. For some
Yes.
reason, Portia wanted them to be together.
Yeah, it was a purposeful choice where she was basically like, hey, this is about adaptability and like, you guys need to be able to put things aside. And Marshawn, when Portia made the like teams, like Marshawn was dying. He's like, what are you doing putting these two together? Like, I need to be a fly on the wall. But it was really a nothing burger because the two of them just really did put everything aside and then did just focus on the mission.
Mhm.
Yeah,
they worked together so well.
Well, that's the thing is like, I think it's if you're both the kind of people that are like, I'm competitive and I want to do the best I can be and I want to like shine and work well. Like, I think that you can kind of do that. What they don't have in common is like every other interaction they're ever going to have. Like, I'm sure that when there's a job to be done, it's like easy to be like, okay, I'm going to focus on the objective task I have to do and not on like the intricacies of the conversation we're having. But they struggle to connect in every other aspect. So it doesn't really shock me that they couldn't work well together because it's like, especially because there's all this pressure on them. Like they know that like, okay, everyone's expecting us to like screw up because we don't like each other. So there's like this extra pressure to like just perform and like block out all of the stuff. So it didn't really shock me that the two of them were fine together. Like, but I think that that's what everyone expects. But it's not like they're having a conversation about like politics or something while they're in the air vent. Although I'm sure
They
Lance would
focused on the
love
mission.
that. They're like, let's have a podcast right here. How do you feel about trans rights? Like that's what Lance wants to do right now.
All right. Well, we ultimately find out that actually the noise that was the ghost in the machine, it was another rad dog.
It's the rad puppy. And
rad puppy.
Yes. And so, yeah, they finally get the button.
Did the previous rad dogs procreate, or should I just send all these questions to Lance Armstrong? Is he sort of the expert on
do.
these? Yeah.
I mean, it didn't work with Andy Richter, so you might as well try him next. I don't know the paternity of the rad puppy that we get, who is now going to be called Plutoto. We will get to that, but because there was the mission before where we got so Marsha and what was the other one? Eartha. They were rescued and then they were back in the hab.
They were rescue rad dogs. Yeah.
But then
don't get your to our listeners, don't get your rad dog from a breeder. That there's just find a rad dog that doesn't have a home. Too many people buy them and then they don't like them and they just take them back to the store, and it's actually very
like
sad.
The rad dog on Instagram.
There's so many rad dogs out there that could use a good home, and just
you can find them in Mars craters, just in the bottom of a hole.
Right. So just like I'm just asking people to be a little compassionate before you just go out and buy a brand new rad dog from the breeder.
Because Marsha and Eartha, just because they were both great rad dogs doesn't mean that you need to force them to create another rad dog. I don't know what happened to these rad dogs, Rob. I really don't. They apparently came back and then we never saw them again. And now there's a new rad dog. So I don't know if they died and this is like some sort of like reincarnation. I don't understand the storyline here, but whatever it is, it's a new rad dog and it is apparently a rad puppy.
And well, I think that's also a good lesson, good takeaway from everybody out there with your rad dogs. Have the spayed and neutered apps updated.
Yes, make sure you've done the software update for the spay and neuter of your rad dog, because you might find an unexpected rad puppy in your air vent. And you're going to have to crawl in there.
Go through the tube. Yeah.
And you better hope you're not Paul Pierce sized, because he couldn't go through the vent. So he just sat in a room while everyone else did. He basically pulled out some tubes or whatever. And then he said, I don't fit, and just sat there. So
just sat there. All right. So we come down to who's not Mish Crit. Works out to it's Lance, it's Ariel, and it's Paul in the bottom three. Kind of thought Paul was gonna go home, but Lance jumps in and says, "Hey, guess what? I'm leaving."
Yeah. What? So I had been spoiled on this episode because as we took the Yachtis and Reality Club Fox on Twitter had like a tweet about like Lance, like, and it was the picture of him like when they do their little like Mars walk when they've been eliminated. And I was like, oh, so I knew Lance was leaving this episode. But when we got down to the bottom three, I was like, how are they not getting rid of Paul here? What are they doing? So yes, I really do think that if Lance hadn't just been like, you know what, I've done what I wanted to do here. It's my time to what did he say? End the experiment or something, like exit the journey or something. I don't know. I don't think he would have been eliminated. I think that they definitely would have gotten rid of Paul, but what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Argue with Lance and say no? They don't really like him.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do?
It's like, why now? I guess he wanted to leave a couple of weeks ago, but
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
whatever.
he starts this episode coming out, and we saw this. I think we saw like a preview of it, and it made it look like he was saying he was gonna quit. Because he's like, I feel like I'm going home today. But the clip we saw, it was actually him talking to Kat, and he was more so saying, like, I feel like I'm gonna get eliminated today. So but then he's like, "No, I wanna stay, like, I wanna keep going."
Mhm.
And so I think maybe he just, like, saw that it was coming and he's like, "I don't have any friends left." Maybe Marshawn being upset with him, like, really just was like, "Oh, that was my last real friend," even though he's, like, bonding with Kat. I don't know. Or maybe he just respects Paul so much that he was like, I you know, I
Mhm.
don't wanna I don't want Paul to go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay on my sword for Paul Pierce."
So yeah, it's just kind of a disappointing finish to the Lance Armstrong
Yeah.
story. He came in, showed his whole ass at various
Yep.
times, wanted to quit earlier in the season, stuck it out, just decided to leave. Just like he was there, he was probably the biggest name that they had on the show. And like he feuded with people. I mean, there were some fun moments with Marshawn Lynch along the way, but
Yeah.
ultimately, this was just like such like a wet fart of an ending of his journey on the
Really.
show.
Yeah, and then maybe that was the problem and why he was dragging his
It's hit the
butt on the
scoot. Yeah.
floor, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It was a really strange, and, like, the fact that, like, he didn't quit earlier when, like, he was really doing poorly socially. I really think that it's just, like, he saw the writing on the wall and that, like, people that he went from feeling like he had a social circle to being like, okay, we're getting down to it and I have less and less people. He was maybe counting the numbers and being like, Kat likes me.
Yeah.
Marshawn doesn't even really like me that much anymore. How I'm not gonna win this. So how do I go out on my own
Would they
terms?
have gotten rid of him? Do you think that he would have been the person that got voted out of the Hab?
I think that they wouldn't have gotten rid of him in this episode, but I do think that he was not long for this world
Yes.
and that they
Yes.
would have had another mission where, everyone did okay. They passed the mission. Everyone did what they needed to and then they used the excuse of at this point like we are such a small group that like having synergy and like being on the same page is so important and like Lance like I just feel like you and that he kind of uses that explanation a little bit as well as like for why he should go. But I do think that he wouldn't have won. He would have gotten taken out at some point, but I don't think it would have happened in this particular episode. I think
Okay.
that they would have gotten rid of Paul.
All right. So Ariel's gonna take some notes and like, all right, that's how you do
Mhm.
it. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Her hero, Neil
yes.
Armstrong.
All right. So we come into the next episode. Ariel, is not like dancing, and instead she's we're finding out that she's a sock sleeper.
Yes. Yeah, so they make some comment about her socks. She wears fluffy socks and we reveal that she is a sock sleeper, which I cannot personally understand.
Yeah.
I will only wear socks sleeping if I'm like camping, which I don't choose to do ever anymore.
Yeah. Now she has
Um,
had the
and
bug
it's cold.
issues in the past.
Oh,
So
that's
maybe there's a
true. Maybe she's
reason
yeah, she did have the cockroach trauma, so maybe that's a bug thing. Because she says apparently it's something to do with
with
germs.
germs. Yeah.
But it's like this is like a fake space habitat on fake Mars.
Yeah.
Um, what is she protecting? What germs? Or does she do this all the time? Because it wasn't clear to me whether this is just a stars on Mars in the Hab situation or if this is every single night of her life,
I
girl
don't know.
is
Sounds like every
wearing the
single
socks
night.
to sleep.
Yeah.
That I I don't personally understand it. I hate socks. I am like socks
Oh,
off as soon as possible. I will say I am wearing socks right now. That is very unusual because it's like a little bit cold and rainy today. So it's like, when it gets
I
kind
remember
of
when you
like
used to rap about socks.
Yes, that's true. That's another thing that I've
Now you're a
done.
sock hater.
I've always been though. Like this is not a new thing. I do not like socks. And wearing them while you're sleeping
Mhm.
is just
Well, I love
wild to me.
socks, okay?
Okay.
And I've talked about this
Sleeping in
on,
them?
but I don't sleep in socks.
Okay. Yeah. See.
It's probably the one time the socks can miss me is when I'm sleeping, but then
What about
as soon as
business
I'm up
socks?
business socks?
Yeah.
No, I don't
You
have any
subscribe to
business
business
socks.
socks.
No.
Okay.
Fun socks like to wear to work?
Yeah.
Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
That's it.
Like
Yeah.
kiwi and, pineapple? No,
Yeah.
no. I have pretty much the same socks every day.
Same socks every day.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't like the feeling. I don't know. I like my feet to feel free.
Mhm.
I'm a barefoot baby, you know?
Barefoot baby, okay.
Yeah. I don't know
Um
what that means. Just this is the alliteration.
Marshawn Lynch, that he must feel like that he's on the outs because he's picking up a dish here in the Hab for seemingly the first time.
Yes, I love this. Everyone is so confused. Like Marshawn's been here too long. Like he's so bored that he's cleaning
He's
up.
cleaning.
This apparently has not happened until day
Maybe
15.
Jenny, maybe there's something else that he doesn't want to do because I know me, like when I'm really like
Mm,
procrastinating a thing, I'm like, oh, like I can't
yeah.
do this thing. I have to clean my office. Look at
Yeah.
my office.
Maybe
It's a mess. I need to
yeah.
clean.
What do you think that Marshawn is putting off though? Like what is the other thing that he would have to do that like
Probably has
he
to go
doesn't want to
clean up
do?
the rad dog poop.
Oh, it's just bolts really,
Batteries,
but
I think. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was people
Not
were just
Skittles.
completely blown away that Marshawn is picking up a dish
Hmm.
and literally putting it into
Yeah.
do they have a dishwasher or is it just the
I
sink?
don't
I don't
think
know.
so. I don't think so. So there was a battle over who's going to be the base commander. Paul,
Mhm.
he wants to do it, but Ariel wants to do it,
Yes.
and she's done it
And
before recently.
yes, she has. But Ariel knows where her strengths are. And she's like, yeah, I still want to do it. I want to do it. And also like we see Kat and Paul kind of start this alliance where like, you know, we know Paul wants to be base commander and Kat's like, I will nominate you, but you have to make me your mission specialist. Like Kat
Hmm.
is playing the game. Kat is like, yes, you should do it, but also me. And like she hammers this home several times. So yeah, Ariel pipes up too, and like Tinashe and I are like we are on the same page because I can tell that she has the same like she's picking up on the same vibes about Paul Pierce that I picked up on immediately, and I was like, there's just something I don't like about this guy, and she I think also feels this way because she's the one person that pipes up and says, you know, expresses some concern about Paul being the base commander. And he's like, I can handle basic instructions and communicating. Like he was kind of like, yeah, I can do it. And Kat's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think he'll be great. So they decided to do a vote. Paul wins, vote of 3-2. Who do we
Hmm.
think the two that we know one of the votes for Ariel was Tinashe? What was the other one? Probably Adam?
Yeah. And I think Marshawn probably voted for.
Marshawn. Wait, then how is it 3-2? Because then who would
Did somebody
Portia?
abstain? Yeah.
Someone must have abstained because I swear that they said the vote was 3-2.
Hmm.
Anyway, the
We're not
point is
breaking
that
down
Paul
votes
wins.
on Stars on Mars.
That is the important thing is we
Save
need the
that for
vote,
claim to
the
fame.
voting strategy of Stars on Mars base commander.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. And then Paul needs a mission specialist. And we get a little bit of like Portia's like, I'm not being the mission specialist now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why would I
Marshawn
waste it
says
now? I need it later.
Yeah, Marshawn says that Portia should do it, and Portia's like, "No, not yet. Like, we got more people to get rid of." And they're like, "Oh, you're playing the game. Like, you only want to do this because it keeps you safe."
Yeah. So like, okay,
like,
mental note, Portia being
yeah,
super strategic. There's one point where they have to do a food audit, Jenny, and I don't
yes.
understand what is going on with the food.
I mean, yeah, so they have to count what rations they have left,
Right.
and I guess Portia's freaking out because, so Portia and Marshawn are auditing the food together. She's, like, chirping. This again, we see a lot of their, like, sibling-esque relationship where she's like, "What are you doing, kindergarten, like, counting? What's taking so long?" And they've only got, like, really dry rations at this point, and she said, "We've got no fresh food. We were gonna starve in a day." But then people are like, "No, the biodome, the
Go
biodome,"
in the
which is
bio.
really
I'm not going in there.
yeah, she doesn't go to the biodome because it stinks.
Okay.
And so there's a bunch of plants. Remember, there was plants.
Like, did
Oh,
production just like put a bunch of plants in there for them?
well, no, Rob. Remember, the mission where the plants got burnt
Yeah,
and
no,
then they
I
had to
remember.
replant it,
I
and then
remember. But
the poopy water.
yes,
That's why it
yes,
stinks in there.
but I'm not buying that in
It,
5
that it's
days that these plants have regrown.
Yeah, so they must have switched them out. They're like, "We can't let these people
Yeah.
die," because she seemed genuinely surprised to walk into this room and see, like,
Yes.
literally every
Like
plant had grown the same amount, like, they were all at the same level, like, I don't think that that's how plants work.
no, I don't think so. But I don't know why this was in the episode. Like it does not really seem
You think it's gonna
to
play into, like, a later mission, or
if
is it
we're
just,
setting
like,
up a long-term storyline
I don't
with the
know, or
plants.
maybe it's,
Okay.
like, wanted to remind us that, like, "Wow, they're really growing their own food. Isn't
Mhm.
that cool?"
Yeah. Okay. This to me was, I think, also one of the worst missions of they have to like make a pen for the dog outside, and then the dog runs away.
Yeah. They have this scene where, like, so they have, like, their base duties or whatever the hell it is, and Paul sends out Ariel and Tinashe to build this pen for the rad dog, and it wasn't clear what they were doing, but ultimately, we're seeing
Mhm.
throughout the episode little, like, shots of the dog getting away. So the
Mhm.
dog gets out of its pen and it falls down a hole, ultimately. We see this happen.
Yes.
Big like commercial cliffhanger is the rad puppy Plutoto falls down the well, and the
Mhm.
well is a Mars crater.
Yeah. I think
And that is
one of the
ultimately going
key
to be what they need to
benefits
do.
of having a rad dog should be it doesn't run away.
Yeah, that you can control, that you can like,
Do
have
not
some sort of setting
run
that it
away.
doesn't leave by
Yeah.
a certain amount of feet away
Stay
from like
within
its
like this many
charger.
feet of the hab, please.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like what good can this rad dog bring me if I can't even rely on it to not run away?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe got hacked, I don't know, because the
Yeah,
AI does
so
some weird stuff.
it does some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that the AI in the hab turned on them, so maybe this went
And it's
rogue. Yeah.
constantly, like, talking crap to them, like, we see the AI kind of, like, you know, getting into it with Adam, so I don't know what the
Mhm.
AI is up to. Maybe they're trying to,
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Jenny, so ultimately Kat is going to be the mission specialist. Her and Paul have to
Yeah.
send everybody out. Can you explain, because you are such a key observer of all
Ugh,
this? Like, could you
it's
explain
embarrassing.
what this mission was? They had to go chase the dog into a tunnel.
Yeah, so the dog had fallen down, like, essentially, like, a hole, and they needed to take the rover, to find the spot, to find the specific hole that the dog had fallen down through, and I guess, like, it fell down and then, like, maybe went through, like, a cave, so it wasn't, like, a straight down, like a well, it was, like, the dog was under the crust,
Hmm.
and so they needed to all get on a rover, drive to wherever the dog was, and then they had to put a flare down into like the cave so that they could use the flare, or like I don't know, something about like they dropped the flare near where the dog was, and then they had to enter the cave, find the flare so that they could find the dog. That part was kind of confusing. But
Yeah.
anyway, the point was they drive the rover, they drop the flare, and then they go into the cave to find the dog and the flare together, and then bring the
Okay.
dog out.
What was going on with Ariel? Why was she keep falling down?
She's really bad in her suit. This
Yes.
is her problem. This is why she's always wanting to be base commander or mission specialist, because she struggles on the field. And she knows that her expertise is in directing, communication, planning.
Yes.
So
Very much so.
she prefers to be inside. And she's a small girl, and these suits look really big and bulky, and she's just clearly not the most graceful person. I would probably be this person. I would be
Mhm.
probably falling a lot. I'm very klutzy. So she is just having a hard time doing basic movement in the
Yeah.
suit. Like they had to like pull her out of the rover because she like couldn't sit up.
Yeah.
I think that the suit probably weighs more than her, and she's like really struggling with the weight of it.
Marshawn was having fun with the Rover. I mean, that is his
Oh
favorite
yes.
thing, getting to go drive the Rover.
That's the best thing. This man will never, I mean, literally, he never will be. He was base commander once, beginning. He had that nice bed and the
Yeah.
private bathroom. Never again. This man was born for the field.
Born for the
And
field. That's right.
yeah, he doesn't want to be inside. He wants to be outside on the missions. And if he's lucky, then he gets to drive the Rover because
He's an
I've never seen him
outside
happier.
rad dog.
Yes, he is. But yeah, these
Mhm.
so, you know, if Ken's job is beach, Marshawn's job is Rover.
Outside. Yeah.
Or what was it? Flamethrower or like whatever it was. He loved
Yes.
doing that too.
Except for he
fire.
wasn't gonna spelunk down the wall.
Right.
That's the
No,
one
he
thing he
doesn't like
wouldn't do.
that.
No.
But he does his job is Rover.
Yeah. Okay. So ultimately, they get the dog back, and you know it's a little bit of a trope that every single mission gets completed with 1 second left. Like,
Yes. Oh my god.
tell me the week they didn't complete the mission with like 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, we did.
I literally every single
Come
time.
on. Come
And
on.
there was a moment I believed in it, and now I'm like, now I'm just annoyed because I'm like, do you think I'm
You can't
stupid
complete every mission with,
with
2 seconds left.
And
Stop.
and I know that I am basically just like a Paul Pierce like hate account at this point. I have nothing against him personally. I just think I'm just getting bad vibes. And also he's like not really bringing anything to this show and not bringing anything to these challenges. And so I actually was hoping that they were going to fail because it really looked like they were going to fail this mission a lot. Like throughout the entirety of the mission, I was like, they're going to fail this. And he's base commander. And so he's going to get taken out because they should have taken him out last week with Lance quitting, and he put himself into base commander and he did a bad job. This is how Paul goes out. But no, like 1 second left.
1 second left. He's there.
BS.
Okay, so it comes down to Portia, Marshawn, or Ariel. Who is going to go home? And just like Lance, here comes Ariel. She's got a speech. She opens, Jenny. Now listen, I'm not usually an emotional person. That's not me. You know me. Logical, just unemotional Ariel.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, has anyone else cried there?
You know
Listen,
me.
I'm not. I am an emotional person, so I am not judging. But this to me is saying, like, girl, you don't know yourself. If you think that you are not the most emotional person. I think she struggles with emotion. That's what it is. It's not that she's not an emotional person, it's that she's uncomfortable with her own emotions.
And she's all about fairness. She did the worst. She should leave. Now, I would have respected this so much if she would have just said, I'm here. Lance isn't. Mic drop. I'm out. I came here I did what I came here to do.
Yeah.
I outlasted Lance. Lance, suck it.
And I think
Ariel
that she I would have loved that because I think that she could have still kind of said the other things she said. But if she also like tossed in, it was like, I had one mission left in me, and that mission
Lance.
was yes, exactly. Like,
that's what you do, right?
Yeah, yeah. But that's the problem.
I sadly vote to evict myself. Beat you, Lance.
He just took himself out first. So I'm also thinking that maybe she's like, is it a real victory over Lance that like he just left before her from his own volition? I don't know.
Now, Jenny, answer this for me. Is there Stars on Mars Ponderosa?
Oh boy. I gotta think no, but I'd love to imagine there is.
But let me just loop this all back together. Next week, on the coming attractions.
Yeah.
We have a rescue mission.
Right.
All right. Now we've been down this road before.
Oh,
Rescue
true.
mission. You have to do a rescue mission. Who needs to get rescued? Because that there was
Yes.
like a like, oh my
Adam looked
God.
excited.
And if
Yes.
I swear to God, Jenny, if it's the gosh darn
Everyone.
rad dog again that needs to be rescued.
There's
That's
no
it.
way.
I am pulling a Lance immediately and self-evicting. We will not cover the
and then I'll
finale
pull
of
an
this
Ariel
show.
right after you.
If it's the rad dog that needs to get rescued, mark my
Yeah.
words, I'm done. I'm done.
Like, you will quit with one episode left. You
Yes.
said, I don't care.
Yes. I'm gonna
this is some
tap
BS.
out, and David Bloomberg is gonna join you the rest of the way, Jenny.
And give me the rules.
I'm tapping out.
This is the thing. I think Adam likes the rad dog. I don't think he's getting that excited about rescuing the rad dog. So I
Mhm.
do think that it is. Now, here's a question, and I don't think this is the case because this would counter what I said earlier in the podcast. But is it Shaddy Daddy?
No way. No way.
Yeah,
It
I don't
has to
think
be
so either.
somebody who still like would want to be there and not like leave immediately. So it could be Andy Richter.
I would love that. That would be funny.
Like, I think he might be the
Um,
one person who's left recently who wasn't like, I
Yeah.
need to leave. Get me out of
Because
here.
they're in Australia, so Mars. So they probably are coordinating like flights, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that even if there isn't like an official Ponderosa,
Right.
like they're probably
Just 2
all
days
like
ago.
hanging out.
I would say that would be my number one pick, that it would be Andy Richter, the one person
Okay.
who might want to go back into the
That was
competition
still
that
like
has left.
yeah,
Yes.
ready.
And
to
I'm sure the editors
play.
liked having him there. The producers liked having him there. It would be drama. Kat would be pissed.
Yeah. Or is it multiple people? Is
But
it
who would
just
be the
one person
multiple
being
people to be rescued? Yeah. Who else would be in the fiction of the show? Who else would be on Mars? But I do wonder, could it be
No.
the jury? They bring the jury
The
back for the
jury.
final.
Oh, I love that. I'm
Bring
picturing
everybody
like
back.
Lance and Ariel like straight out of a cartoon, like tied to like a giant stick of dynamite, and like they're on each side of the dynamite, and like
Mhm.
they have to rescue the two of them,
Yeah.
like the unlikely duo. I don't know. It won't be important, is what I'm gonna say. Like
Right.
it will not matter to
I do think it
the-
could be that they bring Andy back into the game, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Then Jenny, could you just explain at the end of the episode what was going on? Where did Portia admit she was lying about spotting the flare
No.
first?
She
Okay.
literally she was. So what happened was, in the cave, Portia, Adam, and Ariel were the ones down there, and Adam had, while they were still above ground, was really taking a leadership role, like being like, let's go, da, da, da. Once they get into the cave, he gets confused, he gets lost. And it's Portia that ends up seeing the flare and being like, let's go. And then, of course, there's like 5 seconds
Mhm.
left because, of course. And then Ariel
Stars on Mars.
falls. She falls and is like, which apparently didn't matter, like, because Portia and Adam got to the rad dog and the flare while Ariel was still like back in the cave, like further back, like fallen over, like I've fallen and I can't get up. Like that was literally, and I thought that they needed to get her also to like all three of them rescue the rad dog at the same time for the mission to be a success, but apparently it didn't matter. So it's like, why is she there if you don't need to get the whole team to the what is it?
Jenny,
Why do
don't
I
try.
care that she
Don't even-
fell if it didn't matter if she got back up in
Doesn't
time?
matter.
It didn't matter. Anyway, so what happened was, and why Portia was so pissed off being in the bottom three, is because Paul, I guess, thought Adam was like the leader of like that three that did that part of the job. But in reality, Portia was the one that had located the flare and led them to the rad dog. So she was like, that's messed up. So she says that in her pitch to stay. And I guess Paul like asks her about it and said, did you really do that? And she said, yeah. And she's like, you should have asked me that as base commander. She basically
Mhm.
like criticized, like she's being like, listen, like you weren't yes, maybe you didn't see that, but like you just made an assumption that Adam was the one that was responsible for everything, and like maybe you should have asked more questions before making your decision. And like Paul and Marshawn really are taking on this role of like bullying Portia like for fun. Because Marshawn's like, oh, you're really criticizing the base commander. You're gonna talk to him like that. And she's like, yeah, I am. I love Portia. She's very, very
She's
fun.
very fun. Let's pick winners. Who do you think is gonna win? Who's gonna be the brightest star in the galaxy, Jenny?
This is tricky because I don't know how you end this.
Let's
How
go.
do you end
Maybe
this?
you want to do power rankings instead of a draft?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Who will not win in
Paul
this final
Pierce.
six? Paul Pierce. I agree. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Second to not win,
Yeah.
Kat Cora. I don't think
Yeah,
either
I don't
of
think
the
so either. I
No,
think
I
it's
don't
really between the three people in the alliance. I think
Yes.
it's Adam, Portia, or Tinashe.
and I think it's honestly
Marshawn doesn't care
probably
enough to want it.
No, I think that Marshawn like doesn't but that would be really funny. Like
It
the
would be
person that
great.
was just
Best-
there for vibes and just
Mhm.
wanted to like do donuts
Yeah.
in the Rover. Like that would be really fun for me. But I really
Because-
think it's between Tinashe and Portia.
Yes, I think that you could make a case. Do you think we can get an interview with the winner? Would the winner of this show want to talk to us? Is there
I
anybody
don't
else that would
know.
want to talk to them about Stars on Mars?
That's a good point.
Mhm.
If there is someone that wants
Sam,
to
see if you
talk
could
to
book
them,
the winner when
Yes.
like we are the only
whenever
people
that we
have
find
watched-
out.
that of all of the world, we are the only
Mhm.
people that
That
care
wanna
enough
talk
to
about
want to
this
talk to you about
experience.
this show.
Yes. Rob, so
Would you
do
be
think that
interested in having that conversation? Yeah.
is there Stars on Mars winner edit? Like,
Edit.
is there
I don't
edgic
think there
here?
is because there is not one person that we were like, okay, they are running away with it.
No,
I think,
but
yes,
I think that here's the thing. Tinashe is not like a loud personality on the show,
yes,
but time after time, week after week, we get like people talking about Tinashe saying like
Yes.
she is so like she was the first person that was Mish Crit in this last mission.
Yes.
And like I mean, not, and this is not to disparage what she did, but like I think her and Marshawn just like put the flare down the thing
Mhm.
and then hung out on top doing like donuts. I see a lot of people talk about her in a really positive manner
Yes.
about how good she
the
is. at
Tinashe
everything.
Edgic is strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like there's also lots about Portia being really good at the social game, being good
Yes.
with everyone. So that's why I think it's between
Those
two.
three, all three have gotten very positive edits so
Yes,
far. So
and
I
we
think
get
it
a
could
lot
be
of
all
like
of them.
growth stuff from Adam. Like even in this 2-episode arc, we get Adam. Now, interestingly, Adam says people like Tinashe and Portia have made me a better person. So that's like again, kind of in the favor
Mhm.
of the two of them. I don't know, but we get a lot of like stuff about like Adam growth. So I could see that as well.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
really, I just wanted to be Marshawn because that's really fun.
All right. So I think what our plan is right now, assuming that it's not the rad dog that needs to get rescued next week, we will come back and talk about episode 11 of Stars on Mars. And then we'll come back.
And if we
after the
don't
finale.
come back,
Yeah.
if we don't come back next
You
week,
know what happened.
We'll know what happened.
Yeah. Yes. Or Jenny will be back with David Bloomberg. That's one of those two things will happen. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Jenny, then what's coming up for you?
Well, we if you haven't checked it out yet, we just recapped Claim to Fame episode. What was that? I don't know, episode 8, I think.
I was 8.
Yeah, we had Scally join us. That
Yeah.
was super fun. And you know, while recording, realized, oh, that was the second last episode before
No
the
claim
finale.
to fame.
or
I mean,
last-
Jenny, we might have to go live after Stars on Mars on Monday night.
I know. Yeah, I know. No, you know what? I think Rob, maybe we'll end up going live on Monday with something else. We'll find something else to do next Monday live. So keep your eyes peeled for next Monday. Rob and I, we'll do something, right?
Okay.
Right?
We have something live
Yeah.
on Monday night.
I think I'm going to be on the slop next week.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Got that. Okay.
That's what I was
Go.
like.
Yes,
Wink, winking.
yes,
I don't
got
know.
it,
A lot,
right.
a lot can change before next Monday, but
Well,
that
yeah.
is the plan. There's no claim to fame
Yeah.
next week, so let's do some little sloppy business. And we had a really fun BB25 recap on
Mhm.
Sunday. You,
Talked
me,
about the
Terrence,
Nether
AJ
Gorgon.
Norris.
Maybe the
Yeah, the
Nether
Nether
Gorgon will
Gorgon.
need to be rescued.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Well, I would be turning the rover around at that point.
Mhm. Yep.
I would rescue the Nether Gorgon before Cameron, though. So,
Mhm.
but yeah. And so, any other things that are going on with me, check me out on social media at Jenny Autumn, and we will see what these last 2 episodes of Stars and Mars will deliver to us. Hopefully, not more rad dogs because I would
Enough.
like us to
Enough.
see this through
Yeah.
together, Rob. You are my base commander. I would vote for you numerous times.
Thank you, Jenny. And I would have nobody else be my mission specialist here
Thank you.
talking about these crazy shows, mostly on Fox. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us for some Hit or Quit. You can, of course, subscribe to our Hit or Quit podcast feed at robhasawebsite.com/hit or quit feed. I don't, you know what? I don't, is that the right name
I
for
don't
the
know actually. I tried to find it the other day because I know we've got the fame feed for claim
name
to fame
feed?
feed. I
Is
don't
it
know if we have a cute little
Sam? What is the feed? What is the feed name? Hit or quit. That's right. Okay. It's
that's
a hit
right.
or quit
Okay.
feed. All right.
Rob
Thank you
got
so
it.
much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.